All right, everybody, I'm here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys with that game that just ended against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm happy for the win, of course. We played well, and something really bothered me while the game was going on. I just so happened to be, had my Twitter open, and social media, and the fair weather fans are so hilarious. They saw the Cowboys go down by 14, and they're like, "Oh no, it's over. We can't get a stop. Everything's going wrong. Blah blah blah. It's the end of the world." I'm like, guys, football is a four-quarter game. You do not give up. Haven't you watched football before? Did you just see Alabama play Ole Miss in Week 3 and they were down 24-3 and went on a 45-6 run? This football happens this way. You won't always be able to play your best at all times, no matter how well you fare, no matter how well you play. And so being down 14-0 is no problem for me. I'm used to the Cowboys making comebacks. If you watch Dallas anytime over the last few years with Tony Romo as the quarterback, we've made plenty of comebacks to come back and win games. As a matter of fact, in his first game last year, we made that comeback against the New York Giants. It's just getting ridiculous how faithfully some people are when it comes to football. And so, one thing you got to keep in mind is that our defense always starts slow. They start slow typically a lot, especially in the past few years where we've been trying to rebuild and make a better defense with all the turmoil and the shifting we've had with Rob Ryan and Wade Phillips and now Rob Marinelli, and we're just all over the place. But I think Rob Marinelli is getting his defense going in the right direction. I've been saying that for the past 2 years, ever since 2014. People say defense was horrible, and it was absolutely horrible in 2013. In 2014, they got better. They got average, and and I was expecting them to improve again last year in 2015. And the crazy part is that they did, but people did not pay attention to it, or they chose to conveniently ignore it. So although they didn't become world beaters, they didn't become top 10. If you notice the pass defense, the secondary was much better last year, even though the run defense struggled. And people were like, oh, and they're following that old narrative. Oh, the Cowboys defense sucks. The secondary can't cover. Morris Claiborne, Brandon Carr, blah, 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 without realizing that Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne played much better last year. And they were sticking to receivers. So I find it hilarious that during this game, as Mo Claiborne continued to make good plays, that people were so shocked. I'm like, what is going on? Haven't you been watching the Dallas Cowboys play football? Claiborne played better last year as he was recovering from his injury, and this year he's taking it up a step and he's playing even better. He's with receivers step with step in their hip, and he's been doing that since the beginning of the season started. I don't understand what people are looking at. Even last week against Chicago, he had Kevin White covered up. Kevin White just made a great play on that deep pass. And the one time this game where I saw him out of position a little bit was on his interception, ironically. The play where he made the interception and made a great play, he was actually beaten on that play. The guy had ran by him. He had him by a step or two, but Claiborne adjusted to the ball well. So that's interesting. I'm going on record and saying, as I said last week, the Cowboys secondary is the strength of this defense. And I don't know if people realize that. I'll say it again. The Cowboys secondary is the strength of this defense. They've played better. JJ Wilcox even had great man-to-man coverage today, and Barry Church continued to make good hits when he needed to. So this is good. We need to improve our run defense for sure. But the secondary is great. Also, I have to talk a little bit about this offense. Dak Prescott, I'm loving what I see. He's a great quarterback. I can't wait till Tony Romo comes back because then we'll have Tony and Dak, and that'll be great to see. One thing about Dak that I noticed though, his mobility brings a good dimension to the table. One thing that Tony Romo doesn't seem to have as much anymore is his mobility, or I should say his speed, has decreased a lot. If you notice, even from just like 4 years ago, Tony Romo was moving a lot more fluidity and was getting out of the pocket much more easier. Now you can see he's visibly slower, and you just can't fight time. You can't fight getting older. So I've seen that. That gives Dak an added element. That makes Dak look even better with this offensive line. That makes the offensive line looks better because he's not taking as many hits. He's getting away from certain pressures in which Tony Romo doesn't always get away from anymore. And I think that explains the increase in the more severe injuries over the last couple of years because of his mobility decreasing. Now, the thing about Dak though is that his accuracy tends to fly on him sometimes. I saw today the play where he threw to Cole Beasley late in the game. He threw it low to the ground, and Cole Beasley had to scoop it up. And if he had thrown it up, Cole Beasley could have got a first down. Also, on his first touchdown pass to Terrence Williams, that play, although Terrence Williams made a great adjustment to the ball and called the ball, he threw it too far to the inside. And against a better defense, that probably would have been an interception or a pass breakup. He has to make sure that he throws that ball to the outside. Now, he is a rookie, so he has to work on that. But I'm giving you reasons why Tony Romo gives us a better chance to win because people are seeing Dak play well and the team have success, but not realizing that, you know, he's doing great. But there are some things he has to clean up when we play better teams, and if he continues to do those type of things, that could get us in trouble. He did come back later on though, in that play he threw to Bryce Butler, the one that Bryce Butler dropped. That was a perfectly thrown ball. That was pretty good, and I'll give him credit for that. So Dak has to work on his ball placement a little bit more, but he keeps his mobility going and making some great plays. He's a great playmaker, and I can tell the team respects him and responds to him. I think we got our quarterback for the future. It's good, but I do believe Tony Romo should remain the quarterback for now, and he'll have a lot more to learn, and they can work on that ball placement together. With Zeke and Alfred Morris in the running game. So Ezekiel Elliott's showing me a little bit more and more week by week. I wasn't impressed with him as the season was starting because he didn't really seem like a number four pick at this point. And give it up to some being a rookie too. He has to learn. He's learning more and more. I'm seeing him improve each week, so I'm happy to see that. I see him running now. He looks like a first round draft pick now, and I like that. I want to see him improve on that. But what I do like even more is that I think Alfred Morris hits the hole better than Zeke right now. I think he hits the hole better than any running back on Dallas' roster right now. When Alfred Morris gets the ball, he takes off and runs right through the hole. And I think we need to give him more carries because of that. He is probably the more downhill runner of the two. I like Zeke running in between the tackles. He had good vision, but I do like Alfred Morris's toughness and north south running game when he hits the hole. So it'll be cool to see them balance out those carries a little bit more too. But I'm glad that we actually stuck to running the ball today. We still threw it quite a bit, but I'm glad that we did continue to hand the ball off. So that's good to see. Offensive line, they did well at run blocking. They can still work on the pass blocking a little bit, but run blocking is great. And one of the reasons why I think they had a little issue with pass blocking was Chaz Green was starting in place of Tyron Smith. But the crazy part is that Chaz Green played pretty well today. And I can speak for a lot of Cowboy fans. We are happy for that. Glad to see that the loss of Tyron Smith for a game or two won't cripple us, and that Chaz Green, who was that third round pick from 2 years ago. Oh no, yeah, last draft. I think it was 2015 draft. It wasn't a waste. He came out and he's doing pretty good. He showed what our draft evaluators saw on his tape at Florida, even though he had injuries dealing with, and a lot of people weren't sure about this pick. But I think he's proven a lot of people wrong. So this is good to see. I think that is all that I'll talk about for now. But that was a great win for the Cowboys. I can't wait to see where we go from here. And I'll just say go Cowboys. Thanks for listening. And follow me on my Twitter at Brian Glaze Talks. I do like play by play, well, sort of play by play commentary. Big things that happen, things that I notice in the game as I go along. I'll type through them whenever I see a game. So, and I'll post my videos too, so you'll know whenever they show up. Thanks for listening, guys.